Hello, Your Excellency. How are you? Trust your day is going well. It's the money mindset with Razak, and we're still talking about money, marriage, and relationship, and everything in between. I'm sure you enjoyed last week's conversation, but guess what? I still have the governor in the studio. I decided to keep him for this purpose. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you very much, Razak. Nice to
Yeah,
be here.
on the last episode, we were talking about common mistakes that people who are couples married. You talk about openness and lack of transparency. You talk about help, and you talk about affordability. You also talk about debts. What's the fifth one?
So the fifth one is ego spending. And this is going to be very funny to some people who are listening. A lot of us do that. We do ego spending. So we spend because it fuels our ego. And we do this a lot in the guise of we're helping. You know, my brother just called me and I just had to send him 20,000. You know, my friend is in Afghanistan and he's stuck. I sent him 100,000. Now, you know, a lot of the times that's ego spending because the money you are spending, you did not budget for it.
What about instances whereby you have misunderstanding with your spouse and you're just buying something just to bail out, whereas that is not part of your plan?
So that one is not ego spending, that is survival. And you need to do that sometimes. Oh, yeah, you need to do that. But you know, ego spending is actually you spending for things that you are not really. Things won't go wrong if that person that is asking you cannot get it from you. So why must it be you that will provide it? So I see people who even borrow money to send to family members, to friends. You see people come to you and say, we're doing a launching. I mean, you can imagine how many people come to me to say, I'm launching something, I want you to be
Yes.
chairman. And I tell them I can't because I know that you're expecting money from me. I didn't plan for the money. I'm not going to make me spend money that I did not plan for, so I'm not coming. You need to be able to get to a stage in life where you can say no. You know the funny thing? Some of those people that we help with money, the ego spending we talk about, the urgent, what they call it, urgent 2K that we send. Those people are using your money to buy phones that are bigger than yours.
Phone that they don't need.
Phones that they don't need. So you just want to tell everybody that you are somebody who is helping. But ask yourself, the person that you are helping, does that person really need that help? Or are you just doling money to fuel your ego? And this has a very big effect on finance. I see a lot of couples fight over this. You know, the husband is always giving, or the wife is always giving, and the other person is saying, you are giving, we haven't even paid our children's school fees. And then you hear that person saying, don't worry, God will provide. That is the most irresponsible thing that I have heard from some people. That God will provide aspect. When you know very well that he has provided and you have wasted it. You know, some people make God responsible. It's Bishop Oyedepo that said, any faith that makes God absolutely responsible for the outcome of your life is an irresponsible faith. So, stand up to your responsibilities, you know.
I'll take you back,
Yes.
Governor.
Yes.
You see, part of when you were talking earlier, there's this debate I've seen on social media. I'll come to my next topic soon, question rather, around, if you are a couple, as husband, as wife, both of you should not do 9 to 5 job. It's not, how do you balance it, particularly with your finances? Some people will say, no, one person should be business. Oh, what's your take on that?
Seasons of life. You must understand that there are seasons in life, and life is in phases. There's a phase where both of you can't be as busy. There's a phase where both of you can be busy. There's a phase where one person can be busy and the other person can be less busy. You need to know your phase of life part time. You need to be able to understand that when the children are young, they need your presence.
So can you give a practical example?
Oh, yeah, sure. For instance, my wife and I, there was a particular point in time when I was working in the bank. I mean, I spent 18 years working in the bank. Okay, I spent 18 years of my life working in the bank and became busier every year. I mean, the last 6 years I was a branch manager, so you can imagine how crazy that could be. My wife could not have that kind of job So my wife had something else that she was doing. We opened a business. So she left, at a point in time, she left working for USAID and sat in our business. That gave her a little more flexibility. Now, that way our children didn't miss us and we were able to be there. Even as a banker, I used to make sure I used to close early and come back home. Now, fast forward to today. Our children are a set of twins, by the way, so they move as they move together. And our children are in boarding house now. They're in SS1 in boarding house. And since they entered boarding house, my wife and I have been truncating and traversing the globe. So we can afford to stand up today, and we're in London, stand up tomorrow, and then we're in the US because there's nobody at home. So we have now passed that season of life where we actually need to be at home. So we can both be very busy. But you know what? While we're being busy, we still make time for each other. Because that's another thing, you know. So when you get to that phase, don't get too busy and forget your wife or your husband. So we make time for each other. In fact, most of the times we travel together. If I'm the one that has an engagement, she goes with me. If she's the one who has an engagement, I go with her. You know, so we just kind of make time for each other. So that's it. You need to just learn the seasons of life that you are in.
Now, that takes me to my next question. We've heard about family building generational wealth. A lot of times today, we've heard part of the story, we are not taught and raised with the best knowledge of finance. But we are also having children. How do we start building generational wealth with our kids? What are those practical examples that you can give to those who are watching now? I mean, on this issue of building wealth as a family.
Yes, so generational wealth is very important. Your children are not supposed to start from the beginning. Your children are supposed to start from where you stopped. And what it means is that if you have built up to an extent, then your children will pick it up, build it for their own children. Now, Abraham in the Bible built for Isaac. Isaac took what Abraham built, multiplied it, and built for Jacob. Jacob took what Isaac gave him, multiplied it, and gave it to his 12 sons. And the Jews are still the wealthiest people in the world right now. Some of the people who you think are Americans, Britons, they're actually Jew. So the Jews have that leverage. So, you know, the Bible says a good man leaveth an inheritance for his children's children. Unfortunately,
there's this mindset that you should not, don't overspoil your children, don't keep wealth for them.
Yeah, so that I'm leaving an inheritance doesn't mean I should spoil them. Abraham didn't spoil Isaac. Isaac was still a very, very good shepherd. So he didn't spoil Isaac. So you don't spoil. My own children, for instance, are not spoiled. My children can take bike, keke, bus. They can traverse anywhere in the globe. They can live in a village without light and water. They can live in a luxury hotel in Paris. So we have exposed them to all. And they know that you are not waiting for my money to build your own wealth. And so I tell you what my wife and I have planned. We've planned when they're done with school, we ask you, what do you want to do? You say, oh, this is what I want to do. We will take out of what we have been able to save and put for them, part of it, and give it to them as seed money. So it's not going to be a very big chunk. That's why it's seed. So we give it to you as seed money, and you're expected to build on that. Then when we are going, finally, we can now give you the large chunk.
But let's start, for example, those who have children today, who are watching. What are those simple things they can use to teach their children money? Because if they don't start teaching them now, they won't value it.
First, teach them not to be afraid of money. One of the greatest disservice that our parents, those of us in this generation, what our parents, the greatest disservice they did to us was to tell us that money was evil. That mindset has stopped so many people from making money. It almost stopped me also. Now, they didn't come out to tell you straight that money is evil. But the kind of things they told you, like, when you do something for somebody, don't ask for money. Why won't you ask for money? You have worked. So ask for money for God's sake. Now, those things sit in your head. And without knowing it, I have this course. So I run many courses, of course, as you know, at the Marriage Seal Academy. And I have a course for finance called How to Make a Million for Your Family. The first thing we do when we do that course, we do it once every year. The first thing we do when we do that course is to break that mindset that money is evil. And that mindset comes from the book of Timothy, where the Bible says the love of money is the root of all evil. But people remove the love. and they just said money is
It's
the
the root
root
of
of all evil. So you see how that mindset can stop you. So when you even see opportunities to make clean money, and oh, by the way, when I say my wife and I are wealthy, it's clean money,
Sure.
completely clean. So when you see the opportunities to make clean money, you even run because something tells you that you can't make this kind of money now. It's too evil.
So there's also a mindset people have that when people have large money,
They are all evil.
Hmm.
They all did blood money, especially in this part of the world. And that is absolutely not true. It's ridiculous. So the first thing you want to do for your children is don't plant that negative mindset in them.
What's the
The
second?
second thing you need to do is you need to start teaching them how to actually make money. So you see, there are three things you do with money, and that's what I teach in that course. You make money, you multiply money. Sorry, you make money, you manage money, and then you multiply money.
Great.
So you need to teach them these three things. How do you make money? And making money is simple. Teach them how to create solutions, because you make money by creating solutions. If you can create a solution to a problem, there's somebody who is out there that will pay you for that
And
solution.
you think, what about what we've seen today that everybody has turned to comedians and content creators?
Oh, it's a solution. Nigeria is tough. People need to laugh. And it's a solution. I mean, I may not like every one of them because some of them are well overboard, especially those who infuse things that has a lot to do with pornography and all of that. So, yes. But then, I mean, they're comedians. They make people laugh. That's a problem. So you find a problem, create a solution, you will make money. So teach your children from now to start making money. As I'm speaking to you right now, my children are on holiday and they're doing internship in different places. So we've sent them to different places. They are working. My daughter is somewhere working. My son is somewhere working right now. So they are learning. So you teach them how to make money. Then you need to teach them how to manage the money. And you see, you manage money basically by budgeting. My children also, they have a budget. So they don't spend anyhow. In fact, sometimes we go into a shop and they say, oh, we want this, but I think it's too expensive. I smile behind when I hear them saying that. I hear them having the conversation. So I've taught them that's what it means, and it's working. And then you teach them how to multiply money, and you multiply money by investment. So even now, our children are already doing little investments in shares and so on, little investments. We're teaching them. So by the time they get to adulthood, it looks easy for them. It's not a struggle anymore. So those are things that you need to teach your children.
That's quite deep. But sorry, I'm going to bring you back to one of the things you said during the last episodes around transparency.
Yes.
I am earning this. My wife is earning this or making this. And we cannot tell each other. How do we balance that as couples? Or even when people are dating, do you think people should disclose from when they are dating, for example? I mean,
once you have decided you are getting married to a person and you have made your intentions known to each other, you should disclose. Complete disclosure. Full disclosure.
how do we balance that with
now-
African mindset?
So the problem really is that a lot of people get married without having proper premarital counseling. Premarital counseling is to marriage what driving school is to driving. You cannot be married if you don't learn marriage. Marriage is a complete institution. It is the most comprehensive, complicated, intricate institution known to man. So people get into it with the thought of, well, I'm of age to get married. I have money, so let's get married. No, there's too much to learn about marriage. And at the Marriage Seal Academy, we run a 5-module course, premarital counseling. And I tell you, for all the people over the years that have gone through that course and got married, I don't have any of them that has a challenge in their marriage.
But there's also the issue, Governor, around some premarital counseling not covering this point on finance.
Oh, I agree with you. And of course, that is where places like churches need to do a little bit more to have robust premarital counseling programs. And more importantly, because actually I've looked at a lot of curriculum of a lot of churches, it includes all these things. The real problem is that the people who deliver it don't have the knowledge. So those people also have challenges in their own marriages, and they bring their experiences to the marriage instead of actually teaching what is in the curriculum. So they need to be trained. Okay, they need to be trained also.
I get it. But as we wind up, I mean, what are the core values or money values, financial values that couples should have as kind of family values that you think will help them drive a better finance in their marriage?
So those, I mean, that would just be a summary of all I have said. Openness, that's number one. Delayed gratification,
Two.
that will probably be number two. Number three will probably be ensuring that you live within your means. This is too important, living within your means. And too many people live outside their means. That's the truth of the matter. So if you, with these three alone, you're going to be good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Thank you very, very much, the governor. What will be your last word to anyone watching right now and who is thinking, how do I make my marriage better with finance? What would be the last sentence you would like to tell them?
I will tell them to learn. You need to learn everything in marriage, especially finance. Do not assume that you know. There is so much that is unknown. So you need to sit down, read books. My wife and I read 6 books before we got married. Read books, do courses, and then if things are bad, the last thing is ensure you go see a professional counselor.
What's the website if people need to reach out to you?
Oh, it's www.themarriagesealacademy.com.
Thank you very much. And it's a wrap. I mean, this is loaded. I have learned a lot. I'm sure you have also learned. So, hit the subscribe, like, and I would like to read your comments. Thank you very much for watching. It's the Money Mindset with Plaza. Hello, Your Excellency.